All right, we're back. It is another Retro Roots episode.
Happy Monday, everyone.
Happy
Howdy,
Monday.
howdy.
I'm joined once again with the illustrious Mr. Matthews and Mike Mullis from Next Level Gaming. How has your weekend been, guys?
Well, sleeping off Thanksgiving, which was nice.
Absolutely.
Instead of getting Christmas decorations out and putting them up like I probably should have, I decided just to do nothing all weekend, which ended up being a lot more relaxing. But now I'm just like, well, next weekend, I don't want to do it either. I probably should have done it last weekend, but that is future me's problem is what I thought. And I will have to be that future me at some point. Hey, Dr. Game Love.
We got Dr. Game Love. We got Carla. We got Carla's icon always freaks me out.
Yeah.
She is the sweetest person with like the creepiest icon ever. We have 21 Sandwich. We have Miss Emily Survivor. Mike Mullis is hanging on the chat. We got Brian F. Thank you very much.
You know, I'm also right here.
Yes, I know. Okay. Right here. But I'm not talking to you right here. I'm talking to the you that's in chat. Mike's all here and stuff.
The guy, the Mike Mullis in chat's he's a jerk.
He's like the Art Big Fall of our stream. All right. So you did nothing this weekend. What did you do this weekend, Mike?
Let's see. Well, Sunday, Saturday, what did I do? I don't remember what I did Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. Sunday was the first night of Hanukkah. So had family over. Exchanged a couple gifts, did candle lighting, that kind of thing, had dinner. So I gotta show it, man. We got my kid.
Usually I'm the one eating on stream, and here's Mike.
Popcorn, baby. Popcorn. We got.
We're gonna do a solo layout for that. Here we go.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Come on, like thing.
There we go. All right.
Hang on. Now I'm not a Switch guy at all.
Oh, I saw
but
these on
we
Twitter.
got
I want these, by the way.
We got the kids matching Mario and Luigi sets of these.
Those things are fun.
I am telling you, I was so blown away, impressed by this. This is legit. You have these car. I mean, I have got to give Nintendo credit for their ingenuity. They give you these cardboard cutout track gates, right? Mm-hmm. And you put them all around your house. I mean, your house is your track. Do whatever you want, however you want. When you drive, the car has a camera on it. So when you're on your Switch, you see your house as Mario is driving through your house. But when you go through the gates, you get the power-ups just like you're playing Mario Kart. You can you can throw them at people. It's wild. I was actually like legit impressed. I'm out there this evening, helping the kids set up this big giant track. So it was I gotta throw my hat off to Nintendo on
can't you do that on your phone too? I thought you could connect your phone and do it that way too.
Don't know, but it's because the game is on the Switch, so you have to download the game from the eShop.
Yeah, I thought you could. I'll have to look it up. But I could have swore I saw people using their phones for that too.
Well, hang on. Well, no.
On the back of the box, it probably actually says.
There's Dizzy. So Dizzy popped in chat. Heavy Waves popped in chat, and Doug's Gaming all popped in while we're doing our solo mode. I love Doug's icon. It's great. Angry for you. It's fantastic. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're just kind of getting started. We're kind of going over kind of what we did over the last couple of weeks. Since we don't do these every week, I kind of like to catch up on what everybody's kind of been doing.
Yeah. Well, what have you guys been playing this week?
I didn't get to play much this weekend. You guys probably heard me venting on Discord a little bit.
A little.
I have been buried up to my eyeballs in editing, which I just finished. And I'll probably load that one tonight and get it ready to go tomorrow because I have a dinner event tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to stream tomorrow. It's going to go until like 7:30. It's something to do with like her boss, and she's like, "You've got to come," and I'm like, don't really wanna. Where you coming? Okay. So that's gonna be my Tuesday, pretty much. So I'm gonna put this up there. And like every video that I do that takes this much time to edit, I'm always nervous if anybody's actually going to watch the stupid thing because I feel like I'm forcing it at the point where I have to do that much editing to do anything. But it's Atari, so like there's not a lot there that you can just do like gameplay like that really goes over anything. It's kind of hunt packed to find stuff in the first place. Like you can find records that tell you a little bit about that era. But finding like paperwork or documentaries and stuff like that, where people actually have footage and stuff like that stuff's hard to find, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
got
it. Okay,
I got it. I got it.
Okay, all right.
Phil Twerpin's here. What?
Yeah, Phil Twerpin Turkey. At least he's At least he's festive tonight.
Yeah, at least he
It's
came in festive.
Troll guy.
So
yeah, hey, he came in. He came. If he had just come in saying gobble gobble gobble, I'd have let it go. But
I thought I met this guy this afternoon, and he was kind of apologetic, and then we're kind of back to the scenario again. So I don't know if it was.
Oh, you actually talked to him?
I think so. Somebody that claimed to be him. I don't know for sure.
All right, I'll tell you what.
The other thing I did get is I got this weekend. I know I was kind of talking to you guys about this, but this is.
Ooh, what is that?
This is called a hitbox. So this is the next video I'm going to work on after I do one going over my arcade stick collection, because this replaces an arcade stick. So what these buttons do is when you look at like these over here, this is like your down, and then these will be your forward and back on either side here, which I can't do on camera very well. And then down here is jump, right here. And then these are all your normal attack buttons. So it's kind of interesting learning how to use this thing, because I always struggled with certain motions that I finally started getting my hands wrapped around later in life, as I realized that the 360 motion wasn't really a 360 motion. Well, it works insanely fast here. Like, I don't even see my character crouch when I do a 360 motion on this, but I can't do a 720 as easily. Not that I can do a 720 very well either.
Do we have a mod in the chat?
I got it. I got it.
Do we got another one? Oh, it's Phil
Dr. Game Love.
Okay. So we got a few. I don't know if they're all in here or not.
I know Sandwich is pretty good about shooting down the.
Sandwich is kind of in here.
Sharpshooters in the.
Yep. Oh, there's Speed King, and Speed King's coming on this. This one, I want to play around with this, but I don't think the buttons on this particular one are as fast as I would like. There's certain motions that are kind of difficult because I don't think the buttons, they're not samurai buttons, they're more mechanical. Like you can kind of hear them.
Yeah. I like that clickety.
They're kind of mechanical, but they're not as fast as like samurai buttons, I don't think. So it may be that I play around with this one and get one with like samurai buttons, and I use this one for when I travel, because this will actually fit in my back pocket. Literally, I can put it in the back pocket of my pants and carry it. It's weird.
So I'm a total boomer, so I'll just I'm going to ask this for everyone in the audience who doesn't know, since I obviously know. What are you going to use that for? Is it like a
fighting games?
Bluetooth
It's
controller?
almost specifically for fighting games. You could use it for like arcade games. You can use it for anything that you would use a D-pad or an arcade stick for. Realistically,
that's what Heavy Waves was asking. What are you going to be using it for?
I would primarily use it for fighting games. Yes. I can already basically do drag and uppercuts very easily with it. I can already fireballs, hurricane kicks, 360s, charge moves are really good for it.
You're gonna have.
Is it a Bluetooth controller though? Like, is it?
No. I connect it through a USB micro into like my keyboard or into. It's got a universal fighting board in it, so it'll do like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Xbox One, etc. It'll do.
I was gonna. So that was the next question I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
What you can play it with.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna have to do a video on this.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing a video on a breakdown of it. I've been practicing with it just a little bit. I probably got like 30 minutes to an hour in with it, and it's already pretty daggone quick. It's pretty surprising how fast it is and how intuitive it actually is. Some of the motions are really weird. Like when you guys see me do like a double fireball motion to do a super, it's going to look like the strangest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, now I really want to see this.
Because all I do is I swipe my finger across two keys twice. Just swipe, hit the button. And it looks like it shouldn't work, and it looks like it makes no sense in your brain, but it works. It's very bizarre.
Can you play Mega Man X with it though?
Probably.
So Heavy Waves also like to see you play Cuphead with it.
You know what? I might do that just to see what the hell happens with it. I don't know.
Let's see if you could just jump.
In theory, it should work fine. It's got all the basic movements, so I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work.
Just get through the tutorial.
What, a Cuphead? I've already beaten Cuphead. So
I know.
If the game designer couldn't make it through the
No.
who was it? Who was it?
Dean Takagashi.
And speaking, this is a Snack Box Micro. Let me put the link in chat. I think it's called Snack Box by Junk Food Games. Yeah, Snack Box Micro is what it's called. I'll put the link in chat so you guys can look at it here. Sorry, I was holding it up in front of my face, so I couldn't really respond to comments very well. My apologies, but I wanted you guys to be able to see it. So that's the link to it. It's pretty pricey for an arcade stick. It's about the price of a normal arcade stick. It's got some nice lighting options. It's really well built. It's really well constructed, and it's super tiny.
$200.
Yeah, that's an arcade stick price. What's up, Games? Good to see you, man.
What's up, GMC?
If I'm gonna spend that much money, and honestly, I'm gonna get an X Arcade stick. I already have, but I mean,
oh, I've got normal arcade sticks. I wanted to try a good hitbox because I tried it, and you can build these on like a budget, but I just find that one really more well constructed than what I could probably build on a budget. I've seen people make these things out of cardboard. Like literally, they made a cardboard box with the right cutouts and then just installed buttons on it and did it that way. So you can do it that way for maybe $30-$40 worth of parts. The board in those things costs usually like $80 to $100 just for the board. So I mean, the universal fighting boards are kind of expensive. So I mean, you're kind of getting it a little above cost. You know what I mean? It's not like it's insane overhead as far as cost goes.
I hear you. Thanks, Mason. Thanks.
What's going on?
Hey, sexy lady, Big Daddy, and Mike.
And Mike Mullis.
And Mike Mullis.
And which one am I, sexy lady or Big Daddy? I think I'm probably Big
Daddy.
I
don't know.
Usually you're
Judging
sexy
that
lady.
thumbnail.
Judging by your thumbnail.
Yeah.
Hey, that was just me crossing my arms. Okay,
That was a
now I
little
can't.
Uncle Rick pose from Napoleon Dynamite.
Uncle Rico.
It's just me crossing my arms.
No, you don't.
The hilarious part was on my phone. It was so small; it looked like you were actually wearing overalls with that shirt.
No,
I was like Farmer
I
Nick.
wondered where the Farmer Nick thing came from. I wondered where that came from. So you guys know what we're talking about. I'll go ahead and go show you guys a thumbnail. This will be a little bit of a spoiler of what's hitting tomorrow.
Get right now.
But I'll go ahead and share this because they're making fun of me about it, and you guys can laugh along with them because that's probably what's going to happen anyway. To be quite honest. I'm in the wrong folder. Hang on. I'll get it up, and then we'll actually get to maybe topic 1 at some point tonight. Maybe. I'm not holding my breath.
Come on, what is this? NLG?
Yeah, pretty much. So that's the thumbnail that they were making fun of me for.
Look at those arms.
Yeah, look at him.
Nick likes to squeeze stuff.
I
pick up heavy things and put them back down on a regular basis.
I mean, look at it, man.
That's what they're laughing about.
Not laughing. It's
not
more like
laughing.
Admiring.
Yeah.
Admiring that. I don't know that that's better or worse, to be quite frank with you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm starting to get a little up here, but not like that. Like I can't, I have to.
What? Sometimes I just sit in my chair and I'll record something for a little bit, and then Photoshop's actually really good about grabbing a subject out of a photo. So I just tell it to grab like me out of the photo, and then I do a little bit of cleanup. So I can do like new snapshots really quick if I want to, but I've got like a bunch of like headshots that I did at one time, like a ways back, that I just use on loop because they're already there. So I don't have to do them all over again.
Hey Siri, grab the big burly guy in the picture.
Yeah.
Should we use the Darth Vader 2600 for the okay?
There you go.
I'm gonna have to look this up now.
All right,
I can't wait to see you do Titanic dot pacing and paint me like one of your sexy toys. Oh, that's great. So
all right, maybe it's okay that he just calls me Mike Mullis.
Yeah, you see these other pet names. I mean, do you want
your time will come. Your time will come, sir. I'm surprised to see Muzz in here because he was streaming earlier and it was going to pop in.
I saw
he had like 10 minutes. And I'm like, I can't jump. I don't want to jump in there for just 10 minutes.
Same thing. I was like, oh, Maz stream. Oh, well, I got to go though.
Yeah.
I need to turn on. That reminds me, I need to turn on notifications for his. I subscribe to Maz's channel, but I need to make sure notifications are on because I did not see that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to set notifications to all now. By the way, if you guys are subscribing to any new channels, it defaults your notifications to private notifications, and I don't even know what that means. To me, it means we're not going to tell you when anything gets posted. So you have to set it to all.
It unsubscribed me. What the hell?
I've had that happen to me a couple times.
It's that's the same. Yeah, it's just Mason Power, right?
Yeah.
Picture of a Gundam as his banner.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what happened. I know. Like a month and a half ago.
I know you subbed to him. I watched you do it.
I did. All right. I'm resubbed and I hit the notification bell. I don't know what happened, Mason.
You might have to watch something you might have to watch something he's got for a couple minutes to make it stick a couple times. Sometimes that happens. And it's weird because I have sometimes I can just like go in and subscribe to a channel and it won't unsubscribe me ever. And then other times, if I don't watch something for at least 2 minutes and make a comment or do a thumbs up or whatever, it will unsubscribe me to the channel in like 48 hours.
That is dumb.
That's YouTube. And it makes no sense. I don't understand. I never get it. It's fine. It is what it is. So tonight we have a rather unorganized stream, which is, every other Monday for us. Where we're going to talk about GameCube. We've all got pretty good memories for it. I know Mike's always been
for reals this time. We all have
for reals this time.
Yeah.
And I know Mike's always been more of an Xbox and a Sega guy, but he does have fond memories of the GameCube as well.
You got to remember, it was after the N64, and the N64 was the console. Well, you don't remember because I haven't told you this. The N64 was the console that broke me of my Sega only fanboyism.
I find it interesting that was the one because most people consider that a dud these days, which is funny.
Because I think that there were so many good gems in the N64 lineup that kind of crowded the launch of the system, but towards the end they kind of fizzled out. But I mean, I remember what sold me was
all the time scrambles. Me all day, every day.
Yeah, we're in that point. We're at that place too. Now, I mean, Mario 64 was like this unbelievable epiphany game for me, and then all of a sudden, Pilot Wing 64, Wave Race 64, WCW versus NWO World Tour. I mean, some of the best wrestling games were on the N64.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I was never big into wrestling games, and everybody tells me, like, if you're a wrestling game fan, you need the N64. Like, that is where they were at their best.
It was.
Like, so what if I'm not? Does that mean I don't need the N64? That's kind of what I'm hearing you say.
I mean, there were plenty of other things like Conker's Bad Fur Day, which I never picked up, but I probably should have. Banjo-Kazooie. You had Arcana of Time. Now we've gone into an N64 stream somehow, but still.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But anyway, so
we're just laying the groundwork.
My point being is that once I was in Nintendo's, camp of, okay, I can own both a Sega and a Nintendo console. The GameCube was an easy buy. And
mine.
actually,
Most people are idiots.
thank you,
Hi,
CM.
Chris. How are you doing, man? Good to see
So
you.
this is, believe it or not, this is my launch GameCube. And later on, and I can tell you it's my launch GameCube because it has the digital port in the back, which I'm going to be getting some sort of digital. I've been playing all my GameCube games on my kid's Wii, but I finally want to bring this down, put it on the big screen, and because we're getting GameCube games in our video games monthly boxes now, and I want to record footage of it. So I know for about $100 you can get a really good HDMI cable that goes into the digital out. That's my next purchase. But
I've got. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to use the M Classic to scale it? Because you've used that on a couple of systems.
I do, and I can still do that, but I still want to get at least a digital out for it. And I've got the Game Boy Player that I bought later on. That's
nice. See, if I got one again, I'd probably get the Game Boy Player and then maybe start getting some Game Boy Advance games. I can emulate those easily enough. It would just be nice to kind of have a Game Boy Advance at this point.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of feel. Now, I don't know how controlling it would be, but I guess it would be fine with a GameCube controller.
Hey, Gorge, good to see you, man. I'm happy with any time you can spend with us, man. Yep. I know you're busy, dude.
Dude, you saw last night on the stream the Hanukkah gift he gave me, dude. That he printed out with his own. Oh, you didn't see it.
Oh, that sucks, Scrambles. Yeah, I use an Elgato. Well, I've got an internal Elgato. I want to buy an external one. That's on my list of things to purchase. So if I want to record in other areas other than my computer room, I can do that and just get like an inexpensive gaming laptop to be able to stream from.
I will. I'll throw the hat. I'll throw the hat in a ring for AverMedia. I went from Elgato to AverMedia, and I gotta say, the Live Gamer Ultra that I have it takes some absolutely pristine footage.
Yeah, I've looked at that one too, and the AverMedia Mini, I don't know if I'm as sold on. The full-on AverMedia, yeah. The Mini, not as much. It didn't look like it had a headphone jack for some reason, and I don't know why they excluded that. It seemed like an odd choice.
Yeah, I need to get something like that for because I have the FPGA consoles for like the older ones, like the Genesis and the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo. But I do have other game systems that I know would benefit from some kind of, I guess it's an upscaler. I don't really even know the terms. But yeah, I'd like to actually get direct HDMI from PS2 and the GameCube. Because I was playing a lot on the Wii also. But like for the last video, I wanted to capture like authentic, organic GameCube video. So I just used the AV port on that.
So tell me about, because I'm probably just, ignorant in the Wii GameCube portion, it's not emulated, is it? Doesn't the Wii have the GameCube?
I believe the
Wii will play GameCube games.
I think the Wii is actually like it is literally reading the game off the disc.
Yeah, it is. No, what I'm saying
it's essentially like it's a little bit beefed up version of the same hardware. So essentially, it's kind of like a jacked up GameCube.
That's what I thought.
And you can plug in like Wavebirds and normal like Wii control, normal GameCube controllers in it. It's got the ports on the top.
It's got the ports on the top, right? Yeah. But I guess what I was saying was like with the PS3, the original PS3 had hardware backward compatibility with PS2, but then when they pulled it out, it went more emulation, and I just wasn't sure if the GameCube on Wii was more emulated than hardware. But
I never messed with too many games on it. My understanding is it's supposed to be able to play them just like
it plays them fine. I have no
like the GameCube. Yeah,
to my knowledge, it's actually like reading them like an actual GameCube.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you look at any of our video games monthly box openings that have GameCube games in them, they look and play perfectly good. I use GameCube controller, and it's the only difference is it because it's going out through a component, it's coming out it's being upscaled to 480p. So
I thought
Yeah.
the Wii could actually do HDMI too.
I'm sure there's an HDMI adapter, but not from Nintendo, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I was picturing HDMI, but what I was probably actually imagining was I play I play GameCube games on the Wii, and I play Wii games on the Wii U, which actually does have HDMI out. So that's probably where.
There
Oh
you go.
yeah. You can do that. Yeah, I might do that to grab some. I don't know. I thought about doing a video series on the Wii too because I feel like it's got a bad rap, and it's not completely unjustified because it's got a lot of shovelware and stuff, and the motion controls are a little jank at times. But there's a lot of really good games out there too. I feel like
It's
that
hard to
people
say it's
just ignore.
underrated per se. I feel like
Yeah.
it deserves its rating, but I think that the games that are good probably deserve more. Not everyone just Cars, which I think is the highest selling. That and Just Dance. I think
Cars?
I
Really?
think Cars. I think is outside Just Dance. I think Cars is the best sold game on the Wii.
No
I could be
kidding.
wrong on that.
Cars is
Cars-
that's a weird game. I don't
When it
understand why
came out,
that game.
Cars was the number one across all platforms. Cars was the biggest selling game of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
gave
definitely
Cyrus's
have a
cat
copy of it.
PTSD the other day.
I definitely have Cars. I didn't bring it downstairs because I was picking other games to show off, but yeah, I definitely have Cars, so I was part of that.
Yeah, I think I got Cars for my kid too. So,
Yeah, I thought it was a neat game.
but they are still making Just Dance games for it though. So
Yes.
there's still
Yeah.
life in the Wii.
I mean,
oddly
it's
enough.
a good system for that kind of motion
Mhm.
because it does a pretty solid job of it. I'd argue it's almost a little more solid than the Kinect in some ways. It always felt like it reacted a little more accurately than the Kinect. And the Kinect wasn't bad by any respect.
No.
I just thought the Wii was a
There
little more
were-
accurate.
There were better dance games with Kinect than Just Dance. That I totally get what you're saying on that. But the Wii had the sensor too, and that
Yes,
that
that
helped.
also helped. Yeah. Because the Kinect was basically just using a camera to read body motions and stuff like that, whereas the Wii
Right.
had the sensor for the remotes and stuff,
right.
which made it easier. So we should probably maybe actually talk about a GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bring it back, Mike. Bring it back.
All right.
Here we go.
Yank!
Sorry. Wow. Blame it on me. That's all right. Blame it on me.
We always do.
All right. So where in the timeline is the Wii? Is the GameCube rather? I'm trying to think.
It is not.
It is not there.
It is not there. Matter of fact, the
Yep.
it took them a while actually to bring a Mario game to the GameCube because they launched, oddly enough,
Mhm.
by highlighting Luigi,
Mhm.
which I thought
Yep.
was kind of ballsy. And once I played it, probably one of my favorite games on the system.
I never actually played Luigi's Mansion, really. But I remember on IGN or whatever the video game sites were at the time, we were seeing all of the footage of the game footage of the games that are coming up. And Luigi's Mansion and Metroid Prime were the big ones they were really hyping up.
Yes,
so those are the ones
right.
that kind of stood out in my mind specifically. A lot of, because obviously at the time, Luigi's Mansion was just amazing graphics compared to what we're used to on the PlayStation 1 and the N64 for sure. So
I feel like a lot of people slept on that title though because it starred Luigi and
it
not
was
Mario.
we wanted a Mario game,
Right.
so it was weird. And plus, if it wasn't a Mario game, it needed to at least play like a Mario game, and Luigi's Mansion does not play.
Does not.
I was
no.
so glad it didn't though. It was so much better for having Luigi, like the most terrified character in the world, having to bust ghosts. And
I would say
oddly
that
being
Luigi's
very
Mansion has a lot
successful
more
at it.
personality than Mario Sunshine, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
there
you
was a
gonna
lot more
call?
heart put into it, I thought,
Mhm.
than Mario Sunshine. And Mario Sunshine, I don't think is a bad game, but compared to Luigi's Mansion, I felt like it was a little more safe and by the numbers. And they had done such a good job of departing from by the numbers in this console to that point. I think that's why it was such a letdown.
Well,
I almost think that, and I also think that Mario Sunshine is a better game than its reputation would imply. But I don't know if it was really playing it too safe because it was such a departure from Mario 64 to the point where, because I liked it just fine until I played Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy is like a perfect Mario game. And Mario Galaxy plays like Mario 64, not like Mario Sunshine. So
Right.
I think Sunshine was just too much of a departure from. I don't think it was safe. I think it was a risk that just didn't pay off, unfortunately. But I liked how different it was. I thought the flood was fun to use.
Yeah.
When I was playing it recently, because I had this dumb idea that I was going to make a collection video and I was going to play through every single one of my GameCube games. And I spent a little too much time on Mario Sunshine, and I forgot why I don't like it as much as other Mario games. And then I realized this is why. It's just kind of clumsy, kind of frustrating. There was definitely some quality of life improvements made to the Mario series after that. I thought it was a step up in some ways from Mario 64, but yeah, there's some issues there.
I don't know. I need to give it more time. I tried playing it on stream, and I was having a decent amount of fun with it. But
Doug's,
nobody else was enjoying it. Like literally, everybody was like leaving the stream because they disliked it so much.
And Doug's right. I think that Mario Sunshine is one of the hardest Mario games, and it's partly because of how needlessly complicated it is. You got to juggle multiple things going on to activate the camera's kind of crap also, so you're just literally fighting all that stuff.
Yeah, they kind of pulled the camera from the N64 version. They hadn't really evolved the camera very much from game to game, and so I could see that being a frustration, because even going back and playing Mario 64 in the Switch version from the compilation, you're kind of playing it and you're going, man, this camera was amazing back in the day, but the camera work has come so far from you just being able to use the right thumbstick to maneuver your camera any way you want to, that just being able to like recenter it back towards you and move it in small increments feels like more of a hindrance than anything. At the time, that was revolutionary, right? But we've gotten so far past that it's hard to go back and play. And I could see Sunshine suffering from that same thing.
That's the thing. It's like
What's up, Classy?
You do the best you can.
Hey, Pete.
You know better. And it's like Mario 64, no complaints because there is no comparison. So this is the control scheme that you're given. You adapted that, and then they just made all these little subtle tweaks to just gaming in general and the generations to come, to the point where now that we're used to this, it's really hard to go back. It's different than like if you play Symphony of the Night, for example. Symphony of the Night is like probably one of the peak examples of a 2D game. However, even though that's a PlayStation 1 game, it's not going to make a NES game look crappy by comparison, just graphics, Whereas if you're used to Mario Odyssey or Mario Galaxy, it's really hard to go back to those early days, primordial 3D platformers that we had no complaints with at the time. I don't know why
there is one weird thing about trying to go back and play Galaxy is playing it not on the Wii but trying to play it on the Switch is strange, because sometimes you'll end up with that star cursor on the screen that you're moving around and you're like, how the fuck did I do that? Because it's not very reliable.
Right here, Scrambles, his little observation.
Oh,
right there.
You're saying right there, but you got to tell me the comment.
Oh, you can't see my mouse? My cursor's right.
Let's see your cursor. Is it this one?
No, well, that's not Scrambles. There we go.
That is Scrambles.
Mr. Matthews is so animated today. That's what I've been dealing with for the past 2 weeks.
Oh. So, it's funny. There he is. Pete. Mario 64's camera. So I have to agree with Pete that Mario 64's camera was rough. It was really rough.
Not at the time.
No,
Going back to it, I agree, but not at the time.
I mean, it was so new and different. But it was,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just like there was no basis for comparison. So I agree with that.
so, but it still was like the game that sold me on Nintendo. So that's where I part lines there with Pete. He said it's not even in his top 10 Mario games.
Well, and here's the funny thing is going back. Go ahead.
I guess since it was my first real Mario game, I can understand if it's not somebody's favorite Mario game. Because I mean, once I started looking at the older games, 2, for example, which I think is probably the best of the bunch. Super Mario 2, The Wrath of Khan. I feel like
now which year are you talking about? Are you talking about Lost Levels, or are you talking about the one that we got in the States?
The one we got in the States.
Mario USA.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually get that. So my experience with Mario and my experience with Nintendo, I kind of do understand it doesn't line up with everybody else's, because I was coming in from being a Sega fan.
Yeah, I could see that. And coming in off of Nintendo, I have a love-hate relationship with Mario 64, and the reason it's a love-hate relationship is I did love the game, but for 4 months, I mean, basically you had that, you had Wave Race, and you had Time Pilot, or not Time Pilots, but Pilot Wings. And I didn't want Wave Race or Pilot Wings. I had no interest in those games. So it was like the only game I had to play in the console for like 4 months when I bought it. And so I had about 112 stars, and I had played this game for like 4 months straight, and I was done. I was done with Mario. The cart could go away. I was done. I can still go back and enjoy it for what it is today, but when you go back and you look at those stages now versus then, when you looked at them then, those stages seemed monstrous.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll go back and look at it and go, where's the rest of the level? Because they're super tiny, right? They added verticality, but they didn't add any breadth to it. So you're in a really rather small box in each one of the levels with different objectives each time you go back in, which is cool because the level evolves. But they're kind of small.
I think that I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think what they were probably going for in their
later, Dizzy. Thanks for popping in, man. Sorry, saying bye to people.
Obviously retaining disk space and stuff, but I think they were probably had it's a jungle gym more than a level. Is probably what their thought process was. Because I mean, I'm picturing the Thwomp's Fortress, where it's a very, very small footprint, very vertical, and that's like, to me, like an epitome jungle gym level.
Yeah, I think this sums it up really well. Doug says it's more like diorama levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like a small area with a lot of verticality and a lot going on in the scene that you can interact with, but they're not like huge in scope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if they have to be. And again,
we don't, because I mean, Mario Galaxy was built on that same idea for like half the levels were very.
It was, but you had like tiny levels along with bigger levels, and they're all different moons, and they're all kind of connected into like almost one world. They're kind of loosely connected that way, so it made a lot of them feel bigger. You know what I mean? Because when you're going to different planets, you expect some of the planets to be smaller than others, so it made sense to have small levels and big levels. And sometimes the small levels were actually some of the hardest ones, because when you didn't have much space to move, too, they had some of the most complicated criteria to be able to get there.
Oh, they definitely made that work. Like like the level where you had to run through and hit all the, I think it was the Purple Stars one, where you had to run through the Luigi shaped platform, and every time you stepped on a pixel was a platform that would disappear as soon as you touched it. So you had to trace a specific path through this platform.
Oh, I saw some of those. I didn't get back to
the exit.
Yeah. I saw some of those because they had a few of those, and some of them were just as simple as like you had to make all the tiles the same color.
Well,
so you had to follow a similar pattern that way too, in order to be able to like actually accomplish that one. And I thought that was kind of a cool idea, doing something like that.
Yeah, there was so many great ideas.
There's you go.
But that wasn't on the GameCube. So
no, it wasn't on the GameCube.
Sidetracked again. It's so easy.
I know. It really is
such a great system. It encompasses both the system before and after it. That's how.
So I'm gonna go with a couple of games that I lament really not picking up on the console when I initially got it. The first one is going to be Mario Double Dash. I didn't have any interest in it when it came out, and the more I see of the game, the more I want it now.
Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yep.
The more I see people mess with the mechanics with that, the more I think that's probably one of the more interesting Mario Karts that they've done mechanically. I don't know about its battle mode, but as far as the racing goes and the way you hold the items and the way you flip between drivers, I think is kind of really cool. It's a really cool twist on the idea. And the other one is Fire Emblem.
It was also online, by the way. This was broadband.
Yeah,
you could play this online.
Yeah, I want to see them bring the GameCube library to the Switch. That's what I really wanted to see. I didn't really want to see Genesis. I wanted to see GameCube. I love the Genesis, but I can emulate a lot of the Genesis and I've played a lot of the Genesis library, and there's a lot of the Genesis library available in collections. There isn't a lot of GameCube library available elsewhere. That or GBA. Give me Game Boy Advance. Something like that, right? Finally give us freaking Game Boy Advance. Which they've neglected to do to bring out effectively on both the DS and the 3DS in their store, and they're still neglecting to do it with the Switch for some reason, except for a couple compilations, which I still need to pick up the Castlevania compilation now that I think of it. I've also got to start or push on my way all the way through Ghosts and Goblins Resurrected, because every time I pick that game up, I have a good time with it, and I've derailed again.
Nick, I agree with you about Double Dash. I think that's one of my probably my favorite Mario Kart game.
Yeah, and I hate myself that I missed it when it came out. Celestial Light's in here now. Sweet. Man, we got a gambit of like awesome people showing up tonight. Fantastic.
We're talking about the GameCube. Sort of.
That's right.
They all come running.
And all the Luigi Mansion games are pretty amazing. Some of them have different level spikes. The 3DS one I thought spiked really erratically. The one on the Switch, I need to restart and just play all the way through it. I never did finish it. I do. Metroid Prime 1 I played. I did not play Metroid Prime 2. Metroid Prime 1, where I really fell in love with Metroid Prime as a series is I really liked 1, but I didn't fall in love with 1. And you guys can do your opinion after this.
I'm already shaking my head.
I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it on the Wii. Because Metroid Prime 3 is what I wanted out of the camera movement and the aiming out of that game. And all the features worked. It felt less clunky to use because it felt like they mashed so many things into the controller. I was constantly just doing this with the controller to do things. And it just felt like too much. You needed to cut some of it back to streamline the gameplay experience. Is where I went with Metroid Prime 1. And Metroid Prime 2 was the same way because it was built on exactly the same engine. It wasn't until 3 they deviated.
I did not enjoy Mario. I did not enjoy Metroid Prime 3. I thought it was just... It looked nicer than the GameCube games. But I did not enjoy all the stupid stuff they did just for the sake of immersion. Like you had to control her hand to grab the sticks on her ship or turn the key. It just a lot of very, very clunky most controls that were required. I did not, and that took me out of it really hard. So I tried to play through it again recently, and just
I need to give it another go. I remember really enjoying it when I first played it. Maybe it'll change. And I think the main reason I enjoyed it is because I could move and I could look around at the same time. And
well, I think I've asked you this before, but have you played the
Wii versions?
They redid 1 and 2 with the Metroid Prime.
I think I bought it, but I never had any room to download it, and now the store's down. So, and I'm not going to pay like $150 to buy a physical copy of it at the time. I'm not going to. It's probably even more than that now. I bet you it's like $500 now.
I think so.
I'm not even going to go there. I will not do that. I'm sorry.
Because I mean, that's as much as I love the original GameCube games. I think that's actually probably the best way to enjoy those games is with the because the control scheme works great in 1 and 2. I want to know how Because I bought it. That was a launch day purchase for me. Was buying.
Oh, and I played a bunch of it, man. And honestly, if I was to pick up, hey Thumb, if I was to pick up a GameCube again, I would probably pick it up on the GameCube again to try to go through it again and see if maybe I can wrap my hand around the controls a little bit better. Because I got pretty far in it. I got to that big super pirate thing where you had to change the visor like 80 million times to find the enemies that were killing you, and then shoot them with a specific weapon, and then you had to Z-lock to target him with all these missiles. And at that point, I'm like, this is too much crap thrown at me in one combat scenario where I'm already having to run around like a maniac and dodge stuff. This is making the controls feel bad at this point because you've thrown too many mechanics into this combat scenario. And I think that's where I started falling out of love with that game, was in that one. And that was after you fight Ridley. The Ridley fight, I didn't find that bad. But when I got to that one where I've got to hit like 12 points to get like 1 or 2 shots, and then his armor redoes, and every time I break off a part, something else spawns, and I got to rapidly flip through each visor to find the guys, so then I can shoot them, and then I got to go back to him while he's blasting me at the same time with rockets, and I'm like, this fight sucks. I hate this fight. It's not fun. It's just an exercise in irritation. And I just put it down, and I never played it again.
Well,
and
you
I didn't buy two
because if you fought Ridley, then you did the Omega Pirate, because Ridley is the second last boss in the game, so you got through it somehow.
Maybe. I just remember that fight pissing me off to the point where I just didn't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mostly because the mechanics were just. You can disagree with, but the D-pad is where you had to change all the visors, and then I had to Z-target to aim on the guys and shoot them. Then I had to move around dodging, then I had to Z-target to hit him before he spawned new guys to break off a piece of armor. And then even if you weren't quick enough, he'd spawn things before you could break off the armor. And then you had to go back and do it again. And it was just this, and there was like 8 or 9 parts of him you had to break off to like make him vulnerable to be able to do any damage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just too much. Like, I kudos for like taking a swing for the fences, but damn, dial the shit back. Complexity wise, there's too much going on the controller.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. Like, I see what you're saying, and I honestly, and I was coming from basically no FPS experience whatsoever, so I probably was adapting the controls a little differently. So
I think I was already playing Halo.
Yeah, and honestly, and the weird thing is that Halo and Metroid Prime got just like, these are the sister series right here. So you like Halo, and you also have Metroid Prime. They're basically the same games, and that that was honestly how it was kind of sold. Like, it was always Master Chief versus Samus. All that.
It's really not, because
I don't think I've ever heard that.
No, I remember in the
What's up, Daniel?
the
Good to see you,
heyday
man.
of IGN, there was a lot of comparison between Metroid Prime and Halo.
I would not compare them that way, because
I wouldn't either. And
I feel like they're different.
It would be more like Metroid Prime, and I was wrong.
Yeah, they're distinctly different genres in my mind. And the reason I say that is because Metroid Prime is a first-person exploration game first that tried to work in a complex combat system. And I think that's where it started to fall apart, because the controller wasn't really designed for a complex combat system. It was designed for you to move, aim and shoot, move, aim and shoot. It wasn't the kind of quick run and gun that you could do with the older Metroids, because they didn't have the control scheme for it. And that's fine, because what they did with the exploration more than made up for that. Where it fell down is when the fights got more and more complicated.
I think the main comparison point was that Metroid Prime was a flagship science fiction first-person game for the Nintendo console, and Halo was a flagship first-person science fiction franchise for the Xbox.
Doing good, man.
So they just like decided to make them.
Yeah, that's about where it ends.
Yeah, it really is.
Because Halo brought me back to first-person shooters. Because I got burned out and I was done with them. I didn't play any of them on the N64. Didn't want anything to do with them. I didn't come back to them until the Xbox. And that was specifically Halo. Because I played Doom 2 and I was so annoyed with having to use a clip cheat at the end of Doom 2 to be able to make it through that because I could not figure out how to hit that thing appropriately. Because I don't know how many of you guys have seen the end to Doom 2, but it's this big face of like icon of evil thing, and it's spewing all these guys out that land on these platforms. So you have to climb to the top of these platforms while he's spewing all these things out, activate a switch that lets the central pillar go up and down, right? So you have to jump into this poison, grab a radiation suit, and then jump up and then run off of this thing because you can't jump in this game because Doom 2 was just Doom 2. Even though jumping was a mechanic in FPS games at the time, see, Dark Forces, you could not do this in Doom 2 for whatever reason. So you ran off the platform, which lets you fall down at the right angle where you could shoot the exposed praying with a rocket, a singular rocket. You had to do that like 6 times in order to kill this thing. And for the life of me, I could not dodge all the fire around me and hit that thing at the time. So I used a clipping cheat in order to beat the game. And that pissed me off so much because I probably spent like 80 hours getting through this game because it was literally one of those games. You turn a corner, you're not dead, you've got good ammo and health, you save. You turned another corner, you're good health, you're good ammo, you save. That's how Doom worked. And I was so tired of that experience that I just dropped the genre entirely. And Halo changed all that. So I always have that love for the Halo series, regardless of where it's gone, for that reason. And why I don't feel like you can in any way at all compare it to Metroid, because you love Metroid for completely different reasons than you would Halo. Halo gives you a streamlined FPS experience. Right? It's very tight. You've only got 2 weapons and like 2 types of grenades. Very minimalist. Metroid gives you everything under the sun to work with. Like 4 different visors, a grapple beam, multiple different beams, bombs, morph ball, spring ball, all the stuff that you have to juggle throughout the game to be able to navigate the scenario. If you put all that in Halo, it would break Halo. It would not be Halo anymore. It would be something else. So that's why I personally wouldn't compare them for that to make a short story really long.
Well,
bad at short.
I have to. So I have to admit, I have to come clean. I never was a big Metroid person.
Actually, I like Perfect Dark Thumb. It's a little clunky to go back and play, even on a rare replay, but it's fun.
Yeah, I liked Perfect Dark. But that was again 64. That wasn't GameCube. But I was never a Metroid person. So, like, I was gonna play Metroid Other M because we were gonna play it and do. And
I still feel like we should do that. It might be something to do. Might be something to do over Christmas. We could go through Other M, and then we could come back like in the first week or two.
I've got nothing going on.
New year. I'm going to take like the last week, I think, of December off if I still can, where everybody's filled up slots at work with taking time off. So I don't know if they can afford to let me not be there during that time period. So many people out. See, I'm going to try to apply for it tomorrow. So if I can do that, I could spend a decent amount of time again. Because I have my gripes with that game, and I wonder if they still hold up. And I have a lot of love for that game.
I want to see if that holds up too.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see if because people always talk about the controls being clunky, and I didn't really remember finding them clunky. I remember finding them a little different, but not super clunky.
I think it was mainly the first person. We drifted off the GameCube again, but
I know we did. We went on to Metroid, and then we went into Metroid.
The first person sequences, what really
the first person investigation sequences is what. That's the main part that drove me crazy. Was that because sometimes I couldn't find the right location. But I want to see like some fresh perspective from Mike on that game, and I want to see if my memories of the game hold up, because I think it's a much better game than people give it credit for. It gets a lot of flack for the wrong reasons and not enough flack for the right reasons. If that makes sense.
It kind of does.
I happen to agree with the reasons it gets flack on some of those. So.
I mean, it's gatekeeping of abilities is the main thing. So I don't know.
It was a very stupid way of doling out abilities. Anyway, Mike, what are the you try to introduce the GameCube as a big system for you, but you haven't talked about any games.
So I ended up, I know one of my launch games was Super Monkey Ball. So I still,
I really need to play that game one day.
I really like Super Monkey Ball. It's always
I've played
fun.
it a little bit of Friends, and that seems like a great party game to me.
It was really weird because on the GameCube, I played a lot of third-party games. I didn't play a lot of Nintendo. It's like such a weird thing. Like obviously, Mario Kart. I do have Mario Golf, Toadstool Tour. I do have that. But really, the games that I played on there were games that came out from Sega, from third parties. It's like I have, even though I had it on the Xbox, I also had Simpsons Hit and Run on the GameCube. It's such a great game, Simpsons Hit and Run. Oh my goodness, what a great game. Donald Duck Going Quackers.
I never even heard of this game.
Are you kidding?
I never even heard of that game. I missed so many of the Disney games, man.
I had this game on the Dreamcast. I still do have this game on the Dreamcast, and I think I've streamed it before. It's a third person, over the shoulder, Crash Bandicoot style Donald Duck game. It's awesome.
Yeah, like Quackshot on the Genesis. I didn't even know about that game until like way later.
Wow.
And that game's amazing. That game's fantastic.
Sonic 2 Battle.
Yeah. See, it's funny. You and Sagi share kind of a similar vein with the GameCube. She bought the GameCube for like the Resident Evil games and stuff like that they brought out. There were exclusives.
I think I have Resident Evil 4
She bought it for third-party games. She didn't buy it for first-party games. I went into it straight for the first-party games. That's why I've always bought Nintendos for first party.
I don't know why. I don't know what, like, I missed out on Luigi's Mansion. And the funny thing is, by this time in my gaming life, Next Level Gaming had started. So we were covering the GameCube in that very first generation of games. So the other piece of it was I was getting kind of the scraps of what we were getting from from people, because I had a Nintendo writer, so I didn't get a lot of stuff. I bought my GameCube, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know how many of us were into Smash.
I was
not. To bring up this question, I didn't play Smash on the GameCube. I didn't get into Smash. I tried Smash. My first experience with Smash was on the N64, and that was most terrible gaming experience I've had that I have on memory. And it's primarily because I popped on the stage, I didn't know what any of the controls were, and somebody immediately hit me with a baseball bat and wrung me out. Over and over and over and over again. I didn't even have a chance to learn what a smash was. I didn't have any chance to figure out what the moves were, and I never touched it again. I didn't touch it again until the Wii. Actually, it might have been the Wii U. And I got a small appreciation for it, but it still wasn't fun. I didn't fall in love with Smash until Ultimate, which will sound like sacrilege to anybody who's a Smash fan. Now, I have heard most people say the GameCube version of Smash is the absolute, Melee is the best version of Smash created, period, bar none, end of story. Ultimate comes close, but they still think that the GameCube version is better. I haven't played the GameCube version, so I can't say. And Smash is not the same unless you're playing it with other people. So it would be hard to judge when I don't have somebody else to sit down and play it with.
I played a lot of the Smash Brothers games. It's not a series that I have any attachment with. So for I think most of them, I've devoted weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to playing the game solo and unlocking everything and getting all the trophies and that kind of stuff. That's the extent of it for me. I'm not a multiplayer gamer. I don't care about that kind of stuff. So that it has the the biggest appeal for that series is kind of lost on me. Other than unlocking everyone listening to music, the soundtracks are always amazing for Smash Brothers.
I had a lot of fun unlocking everybody with this one. I had a lot of fun playing with my friend with this one, although it led to both of us calling us bullshit and spammers. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I mean, you're coming in with this thing attack. I'm going to counter it the same way. You do the same thing to me. I'm going to call you on your cheese. You're going to call me on my cheese. We're going to get angry at each other. And then the tables are going to turn on the next match because it's a fighting game. That's what we're going to do. Well, okay. I'm going to use the term fighting game loosely when it comes to Smash. It's a brawler.
It's a battler.
Not a fighting game in the truest sense.
No.
Yeah,
all you Smash players can come at me all you want. It won't change a damn thing in my opinion.
No, it's you know what it is? It's Nintendo's, honestly, it's like Nintendo's partial version of games like Power Stone, where you just
Power Stone.
You just
not a fighter, but so much fun.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. And those are becoming really popular now. There's Brawlhalla and there's all those others.
Mm-hmm.
We could do an entire stream just talking about those variants and playing some of those because there's a bunch of those coming out now. Nickelodeon's got one out now.
Oh yeah, they're coming out with one.
There's like another. No, Nickelodeon one already came out.
Yeah, it's already out.
I'm sorry. There's one coming out by WB. I'm sorry. WB.
That one. That's the one I'm thinking of because I couldn't think of what it was, but I knew there was like another one coming out too. And I would actually like to see PlayStation All Stars come back. Quite frankly, I think if you're going to bring that back, now's the time to bring it back. But yeah, no, there's plenty of love for Smash in this house, just not necessarily on the GameCube. Mostly because I wasn't really exposed to it. I was very anti-Smash at the time because of my previous experiences with it, which had more to do with the people I was playing. But it's much like playing fighting games online. I had a couple experiences with that, and people were particularly nasty. Even when I was just saying "good game," they would tell me to shut the hell up, and that's enough to run people. That's enough to run people out of a community quick, right? Yeah. So it has an impact, and that could be a whole other topic about being polite and inviting in a game environment if you want people to continue to play your game. Because if you're jackass, they're not going to want to come back and play the game again, and then your game gets less support.
Right. You know what else was really good on the GameCube that gets overlooked because there were other games on other consoles in the Star Wars universe, but Rogue Squadron does not get enough credit. I had Rogue Squadron 2.
I don't remember playing Rogue Squadron on the GameCube. I played the crap out of Shadows of the Empire. But
Shadows of the Empire was N64, right?
Yeah, that was N64.
Yeah, so Rogue Squadron, I had Rogue Squadron 2, and I thought it was awesome. Rogue Leader. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fantastic game, and something that, was kind of that next step in the, because, Xbox had like Starfighter, like Jedi Starfighter and Starfighter. This was more tuned to the movies, right?
Yeah.
Piloting.
You were actually playing through a lot of the scenarios from the movies. Like one of my favorite levels was the Death Star assault from Return of the Jedi. That was one of the greatest sequences in that game. But that's an amazing looking game, and it was an early GameCube game. It might have even been a launch title. I don't know.
I don't know if it was launched, but it was definitely like 2002.
It was very early.
Yeah.
But it still looks great. It holds up extremely well. Very, very tough game though.
I really do need to kind of pick that one up and get more exposure to it. I played variants of it, but they were really difficult to control. Like it was not a very intuitive experience control wise. And maybe it was just me trying to play it on like an older platform. Like I think I tried playing one on the PlayStation 1 and it was very rough. D-pad is not a good way to control a fighter game in my mind, or a car game. It's just not too tight.
This would be it was a GameCube exclusive. It's probably designed specifically for the GameCube controller, so it controls very well on the GameCube. There were other, I think you're kind of hinting at that, Mike. There were other exclusive Star Wars games for the Xbox, the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
I of the ones I played, I say that the Rogue Squadron games Probably the best.
I love them.
Did you play the third one? Rebel Strike?
Rebel Strike? I did not. I think by that time I was just kind of really moving in on because Xbox had at that time Xbox was getting the Jedi Knight series, which I had loved on the PC. And that's kind of when I went full tilt Xbox.
Jedi Knight 2 was hard.
Outcast,
Jedi Academy was pretty easy, but Jedi Knight 2 was hard.
Dude, not to derail again, but Jedi Outcast just got an FPS boost on the Xbox Series X. That might be the next game I stream since I just finished Cameo, because I want to see that game like I used to play it on my PC. Like on my PC, dude, I had
Hey, Potion.
Hey, what's up, Potion?
Hi, Retro Gamer Life. How are you?
I have the Spabber Troll. No, dude, playing because I used to build my own PCs, and I built them with the dual Voodoo 2 cards and stuff. So when I was playing those games, I was playing them, they were running smooth. I want to see that again. So by that time, and that's why I didn't do Rebel Strike. I'd love to get it again. The beauty of my trying to get this thing hooked up and trying to get more games from like Video Games Monthly and stuff is I would love to start building a better GameCube collection. I probably have about 40 games left out of my collection.
Can I address something real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick. Sorry,
let's talk to Retro Gamer Life here for a little bit. Okay.
Are you the real spammer gamer troll?
Here's my opinion on the spamming thing. The spamming in and of itself is not. It mostly blows out chat, so we can't talk to people when that's happening. It's not so much that we can't take a joke. Some of the names have been really funny and it's actually been kind of amusing. But when it blows out chat to where we can't respond and talk to people, it becomes like frustrating because we have to deal with the chat to get that out of the way so that we can see people, and some of it's still blown way past and then we can't talk to people. That's where the frustration comes from, by the way, not anything you're doing. Nothing you're doing has been outwardly like super nasty. I mean, there was one that's not in mine that actually had doxing information in it, and that's crossing a line.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the one that I'm thinking of, it's mostly been like harmless shit, and that's fine.
Yeah,
it mostly becomes tedious having to clean it up so that we can talk to everybody else. I mean, we'd rather just have you in here hanging out.
If you're the real spammer troll dude, I've actually been a kind of a defender of yours because you're not doing a troll very well if you're actually like being nice to everyone. So that's why I appreciate.
Right. That's fine.
I don't get offended.
It's mostly just cleaning things up.
It's like an inside joke to the community is how I see it, and I don't see it the same way as a lot.
Yeah.
Some people are actually really upset about it, and I think they probably.
I got annoyed with it one night because I was already like kind of on edge anyway, and that's on me. That's more on me than it is on him, quite frankly. Because I'd let it roll off more and more, but at that time I was fighting that and fighting the game, and it was just extra frustration I didn't want at the time. So that's where my bad personality came in.
Well, you also have to kind of understand that there are people out there right now who are doing some horrific spamming. Like Nick, you saw it last night on my Cameo stream.
Absolutely,
we had we had porn bots coming in and that kind of thing, and so when you mix it in, even if you're doing it as a goof, it can be misconstrued because there's so much bad stuff going on right now. And I mean, I've seen some the porn stuff that hit me yesterday was actually tame. I'm like, all right, whatever. I've been on shows where the spammers have come in like completely racist and nasty, and so it's hard. It's hard to come in and joke about it when right now, and some of it too, Retro Gamer, is YouTube is doing a horrible job of policing it and forcing gamers to do it and forcing us to do it. So you just gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, and if you're the one I'm running into, you've never done that on my channel, so I believe you on that. I think that was probably a different account. My main thing was just blowing out the chat too much. Like, if you're going to do like 3 or 4 lines or something like that and have a giggle, that's fine. It's not going to blow up the entire chat. Not at my level, anyway. But, it's fine, dude. Just chill. Have a good time. Enjoy the chat. Talk about
we
the
kept on
topic,
telling you
man.
to sit down and actually hang out.
Yeah, I'm always happy to hang out with new people, dude. That's like 90% of the reason I do this is to find more like-minded people and share ideas and even talk to the people that I don't necessarily agree with, so I can maybe come to a better understanding of why they think the way they do and maybe appreciate that even more. There's no hostility here.
Yeah.
Not
I never got
toward
the
one or
impression
me,
that
anyway.
the Spain Patrol guy was there to be anything
I didn't
other
think so
than
either.
mildly entertaining.
No, I didn't think so
to
either.
kind of amuse himself and us is kind of
So
how
there's
I
two or three games that have been mentioned a couple times that we definitely need to talk
yeah,
about.
let's go back.
So two that got mentioned a lot. I'm sorry, not Twilight. Wind Waker. And
really good
Joe,
game. Say it again.
And Wind Waker. I can say that. It's my stream. I can say that. There's a guy in the community. I love him to death. I'm not going to name names. He hates that game, and he will literally put you in timeout for mentioning that game's name. It's kind of become an inside joke on his channel.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's a little hostile
kind
and
of
a little baity, but overall, I think he's a decent guy. I like him. And then Beautiful Joe was another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're not going out of the stream without talking about Beautiful Joe. I freaking love that game. And then Eternal Darkness, which I didn't play, but I heard nothing but good things about.
Same thing. I never played it, but I've heard unbelievable things about it. Like, that makes a lot of people's top 5 list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're going to put me on Wind Waker versus Twilight Princess, it depends on the version of Wind Waker. And here's why. The GameCube version had a lot of extra sailing around. It was kind of clunky moving through the menu. There were a couple of annoyances there. Once you got it on the Wii U and they remastered that, not only did it look even better than it did before, and it looks amazing. I love that art style, for the record. I think it holds up way better than many, many, many of the Zelda games that came out after it. It got a lot more accessible and fun, in my opinion. And I like it far better than Twilight Princess. And I enjoyed Twilight Princess, but my big gripe with Twilight Princess was it took me like 50 to 55 hours to complete that game, which felt too long for a Zelda game because you weren't getting enough new items to help you navigate that felt like they were really all that useful. They were super niche, and it just felt like they added bloat for some reason to me on that one. And past that, I've had mixed results with Zelda.
I haven't played Twilight Princess very much, but what little I played of it, I kind of fell on the same thought as you did. Is like I think I put like 5 or 6 hours into it, and I don't really feel like I got anywhere. I think I became the wolf and met Midna, and the game was not getting up off the ground, and so I just literally just lost interest, and I didn't realize how little I'd actually made it into the game in that amount of time until I watched someone else play it. And I was like, oh, I wasn't hardly anything.
Yeah, when you first turn into the wolf and meet Midna, that's like you might be 6 to 10 hours into the game, which isn't even close.
You're not back in the story. You're just basically like, yes, Wind Waker did have kind of a slow burn also a little bit, but it just kind of kept you entertained as it was. The game doesn't really start until you actually get thrown out into the ocean by Ganon and you meet the King of Lions, the boat. So that's when and that's a few hours into the game. So you're kind of learning it up to that point. I had a lot more fun with Wind Waker for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, and a lot of the frustration that Speaking had, like hold on, let me find the comment. Wind Waker was good, but finding the Triforce, that was a pain. And that got mitigated a lot on the Wii U version. So if you have a little bit of frustration with Wind Waker, I recommend seeking out the Wii U version and playing that one. Matter of fact, I want to go back there and replay that one. It streamlines getting the Triforce together significantly. There's less going to like Tingle and doing the maps. There's still a couple of them you have to do, but it's not quite as bad. Matter of fact, this was one of the few instances where developers at Nintendo came forward and apologized. The first one was Ocarina of Time and the Water Dungeon, which was drastically fixed on the 3DS or the DS. I can't remember. I think it was DS when they brought it out on there, because you could switch in and out of the boots, which was people's main tedium with that one, because you had to weigh yourself down and then you had to go to different elevations, and you had to go in and out of the menu. That drove people crazy. That got fixed on the DS version, much like a lot of the tedium with Wind Waker, as far as that, like looking at the map to see where you're going and all the items and all that stuff. All that got streamlined on the Wii U, and finding the Triforce pieces got streamlined significantly. And the last Triforce hunt was what they mostly apologized for, because it just was like bloat for bloat in the game, to a point, right?
I believe the Japanese version of that was even worse. I think you had to find the maps to find the Triforce.
Oh God, that would be like nightmarish. Hey Scott, good to see you, man.
Scott.
So as cumbersome as our version was, I think it was actually streamlined from the Japanese version, is what I heard.
Yeah, and it got streamlined even more by the time I went to the Wii U, and I think the Wii U is probably the definitive version of that game for me.
The Wii U version looks fantastic, dude.
I liked the game on the GameCube, but I didn't love it on the GameCube. I actually fell in love with that game on the Wii U, and I think it's probably one of the best. I like it better than Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time I like, but I feel like it gets over-worshipped a lot of times, kind of like Breath of the Wild. Like, I'm not super impressed with Breath of the Wild. It feels kind of empty and barren. Everything's too disposable. There's too many like elements and things that dampen that game for me and make it a hindrance to play rather than a joy to play. Everything's too dramatically interfering with my ability to play, where it just feels like maintenance all the time. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that's where some of those games have gone, like Twilight Princess, that was too long, and Skyward Sword, the swinging mechanics were too much. I feel like Wind Waker was the one, that last one that I had that was in the 3D realm, that just kind of hit all the right notes for me. It would be interesting to play that one again and see if it holds up still the same way as I remember it.
I played it as part of my project recently too, and I found that actually held up just as well. I had to stop myself from playing it so I can move on to other games.
I will never stop bashing on that game a little bit. And the thing is, the reason I bash on it is the same reason I bash on the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. I want to love that game. I want to love it. Same way I want to love the 2016 Ghostbusters, and I can't. And it makes me even more angry that I've tried so hard to fall in love with something that so many people, okay, maybe not the 2016 Ghostbusters, but Breath of the Wild, that people love. And it's not clicking for me, and it's driving me crazy. And every time I talk about it, I want to go and restart the game again. Because maybe this time will be different. Damn it.
Narrator says it won't be.
Damn it.
That's the one game that neither of my kids ever touched. Like, we never got them Breath of the Wild. Like, they had Luigi's Mansion for the Switch. They got it's really funny. I keep going back to Mario 64. That is one of Seth's favorite Switch games. Super Mario 64. Yeah, he loves it.
That's fantastic.
Dude, he was doing like perfecting the backward up the stairs thing, the flip stuff.
What are you doing that you're breaking 3 Wii U consoles?
Yeah, I feel bad that he broke. I feel bad that 3 of these things broke.
I'm kind of wondering at what point you realize that maybe you might be the problem. I've never actually heard of breaking.
My launch one works fine.
Like,
I feel bad that 3 are broken for him. Don't
get me wrong. We've broken the top thing on both of the ones we ever had, like that flips up to show off the GameCube.
This is the Wii U he's talking about, though.
Oh, the Wii U.
I broke that little door off. Also, the Wii.
Did you? Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, that's pretty fragile. But yeah, are you spiking it on the floor? Or
Even Celestial is confused here. He's not sure how he broke it. Those things. That's one of the most bulletproof consoles of that era. I feel like everything else was like bricking and having lasers die and all that stuff, and that system just chugged along fine for me.
That's why I don't really feel sorry for him when he says that. I'm like, oh, don't be so rough on your toys.
Sorry. Stop being mean to your toys.
Yeah, Sid.
No, I didn't think you were intentionally trying to break a console, speaking. I didn't think that at all.
I will hug it and kiss it and call it George.
And then don't hug it too tightly; you'll break it.
Don't do a nick.
Alpha Nerd, what's up?
Thank you so much.
Hey,
what's up, Alpha? How you doing, man? Oh my god. Oh, so crazy. So Beautiful Joe was another one, and I loved this game. This I thought was a great mix of different abilities with like time and slow down and fast forward and all those kind of like making movie cinematics powers. I thought was inspired.
That was a fun idea.
And the fact it had the whole film grain and all that. And
whenever you use your powers, you actually saw like the little flicker.
Yes, and played into like the mechs and all that other stuff towards the end. I thought was just absolutely astonishing. I never played the second one, and I'm kicking myself for not playing it. But the first one was very hard. Beating the first boss could be quite the challenge. Once you got through the first boss, you were kind of prepared to like fight the rest of the game. That was kind of like your gut check of like how much do you understand the mechanics in this game.
You mean the helicopter?
Yes.
Yeah. That took me a minute too. Once you realize what the game is trying to get you to do, but I mean, this was like still part of the tougher part of games where it didn't actually hold your hand.
Right.
It taught you the mechanics and then it expected you to kind of utilize them on your own. It didn't dawn on me that I need to actually slow time and like punch the missiles back.
Sorry, I'm trying to moderate some of the chat that came up that seemed weird because it hit something from like Potions of Run that, and he's never said anything untoward. That's why I leaned forward and I'm like, what the hell is it doing?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I went ahead and approved it because he was just saying hi to Alpha.
Oh, it must only ask you for that because it didn't ask me to approve anything.
Oh, okay.
Or you hit it. You hit it before I had a chance to look at it.
Maybe. I don't know. It was strange. Sorry. I didn't mean to break your train of thought, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Rob.
No, that was my thought.
Oh, okay. I thought I broke your train of thought.
You. I wasn't going to let you break my train of thought.
That's fine. You can keep running.
I have Beautiful Joe 2 on the PS2. Haven't actually touched it. But I think you also control or play as the girlfriend, Sylvia, whatever her name is. I think that's the new mechanic in that game.
Yeah, you had like the male and the female on there, and I don't know. I didn't play that one enough or dig into that one enough to know her mechanics and how she fits into it. I thought she was just another option for you to play as. Did she do things to like assist Joe?
I haven't played it. She's on the cover, so she must be a playable character, I would assume.
Yeah, I thought she was a playable character, but I don't know that if she's like an assist, if you can do co-op, or if she's an assist if you're not in co-op mode. You know what I mean? I don't know how that functions.
Dr. Dick Gamelove, the DS one was the first one I played. So I
don't remember if I ever picked up the DS one. I should probably go find that.
It's pretty good, and it
sounds good.
It's it kind of uses how it has the GameCube version or the console version is more like video effects,
later
like
speaking,
slow down, speed up, all that kind of stuff. With the DS, it's more like video cutting and video editing, so it kind of utilizes the touchscreen in more of like an editor's kind of mechanics. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Now I heard the DS one was actually particularly hard too. Was that bad?
I don't. It's been a long time since I played it. I beat it. I haven't beaten the console version, so take that.
Yeah, we need to cover. Did anybody here on the panel play Eternal Darkness? Because I missed that one completely.
I did
I
not.
played a little bit.
I
Okay.
heard about it, but it never did.
Then
I
we're
found
gonna
it
have to
kind of funky, but
we're gonna have to let you kind of cover this one because they really want this one covered, and it's fair. It's a classic on the system. It's just one I missed.
I'm going back and looking at
Lend you my copy. I do that because I could play it on the Wii technically, which I still have connected.
I'm going back and looking and see if that was ever covered on our site. I feel like it was, but I don't think I ever touched it. Let's see.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know for sure. Like I saw it, it looked really cool. Is that the one that has like the tension meter? Like you're trying to keep from like going insane as you play through
yeah,
the
there's
game?
like I believe there's like sanity, and also
I know that was
you're
pretty
playing through
revolutionary at the time.
You're playing through like maybe 5 or 6 different characters from history. I played a little bit myself, and then I watched someone else play through it completely. And now that I've seen the whole game played, I'm like, well, I don't really play it on my own. I didn't play it enough to actually develop any kind of fondness whatsoever at the time. I feel like that for me, that prior connection is required for me to enjoy it now. So I will not be playing through it. I probably won't even keep the copy I have, but I can respect the fact that it's one of the most fondly regarded.
There's a lot of love for that game.
I don't
There's
really get it. I think there's only because it was a competent game. It has some notoriety by being a horror game, a mature game that actually had Nintendo's name on it, even though they didn't make it. They published it. And it's, I don't know. It did something different than I think what I'm saying, and Mazin already knows what I'm about to say. Eternal Darkness is a little overrated. So that's just my opinion, though.
So I will tell you that in 2003, the guy on my site who reviewed Eternal Darkness gave it a perfect 100 out of 100. He actually said, this is what he said. Now, this is 2003. Eternal Darkness is the best GameCube game to date and is the best console game that is out now. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better overall gaming experience than Silicon Knights and Nintendo's offering. Top-notch graphics, excellent audio, intriguing storyline, and great gameplay come together in one hell of a game. With 12 different characters and hours upon gameplay, Eternal Darkness will keep you busy for a long time. This is one game that you definitely want to pick up if you're looking for a quality title. So that was my that was Chris Wilson, my co-founder, actually. So
you don't really do that podcast with Wilson very much anymore, do you?
He only did no. So Chris, there were three of us that I had. There were 3 of us that co-founded Next Level Gaming. It was me, Chris Wilson, and Sean Foster. Chris, when I brought back the brand to do the YouTube channel, he was all on board with doing a weekly show, and that's back when we recorded it and then put it up. But after about a week, he was like, I don't know if I could do this. So I'm like, all right, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to keep going. And he said, yeah, go ahead. So I only had him on for a week. And the very first show we did back in 2013 or 14. So he was one of the 3 people, when Sega decided to take the hardware dirt nap. And I said, hey guys, we should or do we want to keep going with something, or do we want to just be done with Dreamcast HQ? I was really pining to do a multi-platform website, and Chris came along. So he between him and Sean, they did a lot of the GameCube stuff.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, the last couple that I can remember, because I was kind of looking through a list to try to refresh my memory. Covered the Proms, we covered Smash, we covered Mario Kart, covered Wind Waker, we talked a little bit about Sunshine. We didn't talk about Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door. I don't have a whole lot of I don't have a lot of experience with it.
Yeah.
Personally. It looks great. I've seen some people play it since, and I lament not picking it up because it looks amazing. And then we can't, much like we couldn't do this without talking about Beautiful Joe, we cannot go through this and not talk about Pikmin. Which I don't have any experience with, but Matthews adores Pikmin. I know he adores Pikmin.
I do. It is Pikmin is my favorite game on the GameCube, and the Wii U. I think that Pikmin is one of those rare series that literally every game has gotten better and better and in leaps and bounds, except for Hey Pikmin on the 3DS. That was only okay. But on the GameCube, it was just absolutely fantastic. I love those games.
And so, Retro, we've already talked about games that you can jump on the GameCube. We've covered a couple of those actually. And I feel like you're trolling without without spam trolling. It's all right. Weird.
I also played Paper Mario, 1,000 Year Door. That was one of the games I actually originally had when I had the before I was a collector. Had my original library, and I played through it, and I really, really liked it. And it was just at that time I was not a collector, so when I beat a game, I sold it. So, and when I sold it, it was maybe a $20 game. It was the price I sold it for was barely worth the effort of selling it. I didn't want it.
Yeah, I feel like it's worth a lot more than
it's
that
worth
now.
a lot more than that now. So I'm really kind of kicking myself. That's another one of those games that I'm kicking myself for getting rid of, especially for as little as I sold it for.
Yeah,
not worth it. It's really good.
Is there anything that we have not covered on the GameCube that people want to cover? I mean, we talked about the Game Boy Advance connection. We didn't wax poetic about the Wavebird, which is probably like one of the best controllers ever made.
Well, it's not just the Wavebird. I think the GameCube controller in general, including the Wavebird, it's such an amazing. It's one of the best design controllers.
It just feels it's a nice controller to hold. It's a pleasant experience to play with. It's missing some of the buttons and some of the modern conveniences you like at a modern controller.
Yeah, like the two. Actually, having two sets of shoulder buttons would be nice, but I mean, you didn't really
a second analog stick that functions as an analog stick instead of one that acts as like C buttons would be nice. I think that would have been a nice addition to it, but that wasn't
a D-pad. I didn't really love the D-pad on the
Well, yeah, I tried not to do. I didn't really do fighters on that game, and it didn't really have a lot of them.
You didn't really,
if I recall. So it was it had Soul Calibur, but you could play that with an analog stick just as easily. So that wasn't a huge loss.
Mm-hmm.
But there really weren't a lot of fighters on the GameCube. That wasn't where you went for those.
No,
and part of it was that D-pad was bad for them, straight up. So it is what it is. Is there anything else you guys want to cover? Game-wise, hardware-wise, otherwise, memories?
I don't know. I really do need to build up this collection. I feel like I feel like you guys talking about a couple of these games, I feel like I'm missing out on. I feel like I'm missing out on these Metroid games. So I think I need to.
Prime is totally worth playing. As clunky as I felt some of the controls were, it's for the time and what it is. It's astounding. Like there's no other word to put it other than astounding what they did.
And you haven't played through any of the other Metroid games, though, right? Mike?
No, I have not. I really have not.
Okay.
And I'm aware. I mean, I'm aware that that the like a lot of games, the origins of Metroid is 2D because it was on the NES, the SNES. You know, I get that.
I just don't know if it really matters. I don't know if you really need to have an appreciation for the side-scrolling games to enjoy or vice versa.
Well, it's good to have a little bit of experience with the 2D one to see the scope of how well they move that to 3D.
Like, if you play through some Metroid, they would probably help you enjoy the.
So maybe I need to play Metroid, and I mean I obviously can emulate it. Maybe I need to do that.
Don't remember this one, Doug.
And
I agree, Metroid Prime's pretty amazing. Now, here's the thing. If I was going to recommend a Metroid game for you to start with, and it'll sound weird, I would start with Super Metroid. Because it's got a map system. Metroid is amazing for the time period it came out. It's atmospheric, it's creepy, it's easy to kind of get lost in, which was the point. One, they didn't have the memory or time to program a map in, and two, I don't think they really wanted a map. They wanted you to get lost in that game. That was sort of the point, was to make you feel isolated, alone, lost. That was part of what they were trying to do. Super Metroid takes that formula, still kind of keeps it creepy, but gives you a map system which makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah, I know
Also
Super
being
Metroid
hard.
was a very, very critically acclaimed game.
Yeah, that's probably like the most perfect game on the Super Nintendo, in my opinion.
To be honest,
And everything on it.
Metroid Prime is an amazing game on its own, but it's also amazing in the sense that it's essentially a 3D version of Super Metroid. And you don't need to play one to enjoy the other, but it's kind of neat playing the side-scrolling version, and not that they're the same game.
Metroid Zero Mission is another good place to start. Mazin's correct. Sorry, go
or
ahead.
Metroid Other M, since that's gonna be our homework assignment.
True, but that doesn't really help you.
Not really a Metroid game, now. So
tell
it is.
So,
it's a Metroid game.
well, it's got Metroid in the title, but as a scientist, I should probably like hold my judgment out until I actually see the evidence. So,
as a scientist, do you represent science, sir?
yeah, I represent science.
I'm sorry. I had to.
I'm a scientist, sir.
No, you may not have seen that today.
Yeah, I know where he's going because I
you
was
know,
watching.
No,
Yeah.
that's all. But so what is it about other? I mean, because I'm obviously going to play it. So Mazin says it's overrated. So what am I?
Mazin thinks everything is overrated.
I don't know. I don't know
so-
that I'd say Other M is overrated. I'd say it's underrated as a Metroid game because most people don't like it.
Is there something? I mean, is there a brand? Is it like a spin-off? Is it?
No, I mean it's canonical to Metroid. It's part of the timeline and explains some of the, or tries to explain some of the personality quirks and why Samus is the way Samus is in its own way. A lot of people took issue with a couple things in the game. Primarily Samus's behavior towards one of the main characters in the game, being very submissive and falling into line, but it was kind of a military operation. So it sort of makes sense that she would do that because she's working with a military group. And a lot of Samus's armaments, which you might not know this, are so destructive that if she were to use them without knowing that people were in a safe zone, would probably kill them all. Flat out. Like they're a little too lethal to use until certain criteria there. And they use it as a way of gatekeeping abilities as opposed to you exploring and finding them. So it's more linear in that aspect. And I can see Matthew's already shaking his head.
I'm laughing at Mazin again.
Okay.
And I honestly haven't played through the game enough to actually be really that judgmental. I need to just shut up. But I did not.
No.
I wasn't blown away with what I played, but I wasn't completely turned off. Other than the first person, I can make my peace with a lot of stuff. The first person investigation sequences I didn't enjoy. That's what kind of broke the game for me. Broke my attention span anyway.
Yeah, that's the main part of the game that kind of starts to break it down for me, because there's parts in the game where you stop and you go into what they call investigation mode. You have to point the Wiimote at the controller and you have to basically like find certain things in this one scene, and you can move a little bit left and right, I think. But it becomes like sometimes you're sitting there, it's kind of like a really bad game of Where's Waldo, where you're just going click, click,
You're just
click,
trying to find that
click,
the right pick.
click.
And Carla, this is a transparent Play It Loud Game Boy. This is a obviously a Game Boy carrying case. I collect mainly for the Game Boy, so that's most of what I start out with. But yes, that is what that is, the background.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, there's parts about Metroid Other M that drive me crazy, that I did not enjoy, and it was primarily the investigation scenes. I found the combat really fluid and nice. because they went with Ninja Theory to develop it. Also,
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Also
It's
did the Ninja Gaiden
different
games.
because it was.
It got a lot of crap initially just because Ninja Theory was involved.
So
Like, flat out.
As a very big fan of Ninja Theory, I could that actually gains points with me. And
combat plays a lot like Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox.
So wait a minute. So all right, well hold on. So it's not Ninja Theory, it's Team Ninja. Ninja Theory is Hellblade, and
yeah, I think it's Team Ninja.
You're talking about Itagashi's because Takanobu Itagashi was still part of Tecmo back or
yeah, Team Ninja. I'm sorry, Team Ninja.
Okay. Okay.
So it got a lot of crap because Team Ninja was on it and they were known more for the Dead or Alive series, but they also did things like Ninja Gaiden. And so the combat is kind of a little bit, not completely, but it's sort of Ninja Gaiden inspired. You have a lot of those kind of like quick flips, rolls, that kind of thing. You've got kind of flashy finishers to be able to deal with people, stuff like that. And yes, they did a Devil May Cry game as well.
Yes, they did. They did Devil May Cry.
And everybody bagged on that until they played it, and then they freaking loved it. And a lot of them still won't admit they didn't love it, but that game is much better rated.
Well, because it wasn't one of Capcom's mainline DMCs.
Yeah.
So,
but no, they do good work, and I will stand by the Dead or Alive series as a good fighting game series.
Absolutely,
I'll die on that hill too.
I will.
It's got a ton of fan service in it, but that combat system is solid.
I was going to Team Ninja. I was a very, very big fan of Team Ninja. I really was. The Ninja Gaiden games on Xbox, Ninja Gaiden 2, and it eventually brought Black, but those to me were unbelievably great games. I mean, just outstanding games.
Oh, did Victory Leo pop in? I missed him.
Oh, and Extreme Beach Volleyball.
I'm sorry. Honestly, I tried. Was it DOA Extreme Volleyball 2 or something like that? And honestly, the volleyball in that was fun.
It was.
I expected the volleyball to be trash and it just to be like you doing the silly minis, but the volleyball was fun.
It was. It's funny because I was a beach volleyball player at one time. The beach volleyball portion of that game was actually technically sound. I was impressed.
Yeah, I think those games get a much worse rap than they should. Those are other games that I feel like get much worse rap. Now that we've kind of gone down this,
Well, but hold on. I'm going to bring it back to the GameCube because now we talked about volleyball. And I do remember, oh no, it never came out on. Outlaw Golf came out on the GameCube, but Outlaw Volleyball did not.
Oh.
That was another very technically sound volleyball game. Now that I think of it, I can't remember a volleyball game on the GameCube.
I'm not surprised.
So
the one thing that Team Ninja is never shy on giving you is fan service because they love their fan service, and don't lie to yourself. What's his name that did Metal Gear Solid has literally gone on record as saying, "Yeah, I made this character incredibly within a skimpy outfit just because I wanted to see girls cosplay as it." Come on.
No, this was what's her name? The Silence? Is that what her name is?
Yeah. The one that has like the breeze through her skin and wears like the bikini.
Kojima? You're talking about Kojima saying that? Did he say that? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he absolutely said that. He designed her just because he wanted to see girls cosplay her. That's why she shows that much skin. And he made up a reason around it.
Well, I honestly, guys are guys. It doesn't really matter whether you're a filmmaker or I'm not saying that it's not still dirty, but I think a lot of people that played Metal Gear Solid 5 appreciated it anyway. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the sniper girl. The sniper girl. She was either called Quiet. I think she was called Quiet.
Yeah, I knew it had something to do with because I haven't actually played the game. So it was my brother. It was my brother-in-law that was telling me about her. I was like, "Oh, there's this girl in. She's basically naked. Tell me more."
Naked, you say?
Right,
So I had to Google it after that. I was like, oh, she's not really naked though.
No, well, she's basically in like a bikini for the
Yeah,
most
she's
part.
got like a bikini. I mean, it kind of, I guess logically it kind of makes sense. There's as little on her person that can make noise at all. But I think he was one that told me what her name was. I knew it had something to do with being quiet. So
She had a beautiful
She had a
face.
beautiful face.
Did someone say naked?
she did.
I
Now
love our chat.
in this game, was that also when Kojima was still doing like the full face capture like he did with
I can't remember. Didn't he do that with freaking Death Stranding too?
That's what it is. Where actually it was
Yeah.
actually Guillermo del Toro that was in there, and what's his face, and like everyone was actually themselves in the game. And I was wondering if that was actually the way it was with.
I'm not sure. I don't think that.
Well,
I don't think it's that far moved away from the technology that they couldn't have done that. I mean,
Hmm.
I think they used. No, they didn't use an MK11. The motions weren't that natural. I was thinking they were using some of that on the MK games to map the faces and stuff like that, just having the actors talk. But MK's faces don't move that detailed, so I don't think so. I don't know. We should probably start wrapping this up because we've been going for almost 2 hours. Does anybody have any last thoughts or anything that we missed that we want to cover? Any last comments, etc.?
We like the GameCube. That's
yes,
probably sums it up. We didn't really. We didn't really talk about it that much, though. I mean, it was a pretty rousing conversation with lots of twists and turns.
It was more of a, now that one. So now that one I had to approve.
Yeah, I thought I clicked on that one too.
I had to, you're welcome.
More
Scramble.
or less views. I kind of understand why I blocked that one to start. I don't have any problem with it, but I kind of get why Google went, I don't know. So I think we pretty much wrapped up what we're going to cover tonight. We could always come back to this. This might be the perfect comment to end the stream on. Madison, never change, man. Never change. Love you, bro. Even Carlos over here dying. All right, guys, we're going to call the stream here. Thank you, everybody that popped in to hang out and chat with us for a little while before we put nice N64 podcast.
It's sad. You know,
also, there was the Wii in there too, Sam.
There was. We talked.
Hey, we talked about a lot of stuff here. We went over a lot of GameCube.
Hey, we did. We covered a lot of Nintendo tonight.
Honestly, the GameCube topic was literally just a hook that we hung everything else on. So
Right.
I'm trying to make a hook with my finger so you can
We
actually
brought
see
them all in here under the guise of a GameCube podcast, and then we hit them with the N64.
That's right, bait and switch, baby.
Bait and switch. Now everybody's gonna want their money back.
Oh, it's a good thing I didn't charge them anything.
Yeah, they had a target.
Oh,
Kind of hit it. That's perfect game love.
Do you guys have anything going on your channel this week? I know NOG's got a stream on Thursday.
Yep, we got our show on Thursday. We're gonna reel it back in and talk about the nominations for the video game awards that are coming up next week. And thank you, Jeff Keighley, for not actually scheduling the video game awards on the first night of Hanukkah this year. I appreciate it. He did it last year. That was great. And I just finished Cameo.
Cameo, I saw the ending of that.
4K.
I was watching a bit of that last
again.
night, Mike.
Dude,
I didn't comment, but I was lurking.
I'll tell you what, that game with a 60 FPS boost makes it a different game. I mean, I so thoroughly enjoyed replaying it. It was, I did not realize that I never beat it. Because I was so, I was so.
It gets technical towards the end. No joke.
It got total. I mean, I was so impressed at how much you had to use your elementals
Mm-hmm.
to get through that game, and I thought that I had beaten it, and now I just realized that with all the launch titles, I was basically the one with the Xbox 360 when Microsoft sent us the retail and the debug unit, and they sent all the games as review code, not box copy. So I was stuck basically reviewing all the Xbox 360 launch titles. And now I realize why I didn't beat Cameo. So I'm so glad I went back and did it. I'm looking at the next game to do. And
Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime.
Problem is I need to get it on GameCube, and I need to get a Wii. I need to get a HDMI cable for the GameCube, and then I can stream it. So let me see. There might be. I was half tempted to pick up Sonic Generations because that got an FPS boost.
Sonic Generations is fun. That's a good game.
Yeah,
but I played it more on the DS than I did on the console, and it's actually a different game on both.
It is, and I can't play a Sonic game at 30 FPS that goes that fast. Sonic Adventure ruined me on that, but that got an FPS boost, and I watched a Digital Foundry video on it, and man, I was like, okay, now I want to play that game because I'm a Sonic nut.
Yeah, so I really want to pick up a Series X, but you still can't find the stupid things, man. I keep looking, but I'm not paying $1,000 for that thing. I'm sorry, I'm not paying $1,000 for it. It's not worth that.
You should not.
I wouldn't pay that for the PS5 either. It's ridiculous.
No. So that's what I got going on. I'm looking for the next thing to stream.
Yeah. What you got going on, Rob?
Oh, I'm not really. I might start working on something in the background, but I'm not. There's no videos coming out this week on my channel.
Dude, what kills me is you'll do like no videos for 3 weeks, and you'll gain more subs than I gain in like 3 weeks of actually posting videos regularly. In fact, I lose more subs than you gain during that time period. And I look at it and go, I hate you so much.
I think like a couple people.
I love you. I love you, man. You're great. But I hate you so much.
Hold your breath, Mazin, and you wait for it. It'll be there eventually.
I actually think you might have fun streaming, quite frankly. But I do like your recorded content and the way you edit that together. I need to do, as far as me, I'm still trying to pick my next game for the Can I Learn. I'm thinking I'm just going to do Batman on the NES because I don't have better ideas. And that's a really good game. It's also one I'm like, I can't beat the first boss in that game. I'm going to have to look up something to figure out how to do that.
It's another one where
the first boss.
A lot of the difficulty, and it's a challenging game all the way through, but a lot of the difficulty is actually kind of front loaded in learning the peculiar controls for the game, because Batman does have like a really unique way of moving and jumping, and it's a lot more deliberate. So I think once you just get used to that.
The jumping wasn't the problem. It's the way that guy attacks on the first boss. Like I literally can't figure out when I can hit him without getting my.
Are you throwing the little boomerangs and stuff with the batarang?
Yeah, I think I was trying to use that. I think I tried using the gun. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back to it again and really give it more of a focused effort, which is why I think that might be my next one for the Can I Learn.
It's a good.
Because I could make it to him on the first stage, and that's as far as I got. So it's a good one because I don't have much experience with it. Like I had experience with Contra when I played Contra, but it was mostly from like the 30 lives code. I'd gotten to like stage 5 or 6, right? I never made it to stage 7 even with 30 lives before. So that's why the challenge on that one was kind of like, can I do this with a 1cc, right? Because that's vastly different than the way I've been playing this game forever, and it felt doable, right? I knew it was doable, frustrating but doable. Because there's a little bit of RNG in there that can screw you up. Not a ton, but there's a little bit that can screw you over. Like if your tempo's not right. So I might be starting to do that. I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow. There won't be a stream tomorrow, guys, because I have a real life event I am told I have to attend. And Carla, I would love to do more of these streams. The time does not work out for us to do more of these streams. I would like to do it. I think the guys would like to do it, but time-wise, it is not good. Real life intervenes, and it's too difficult for us to do every week because of real life commitments. So that's why it's every other week. Yeah. And then the Atari video, which I spent, I don't even want to think about how many hours I spent editing that video.
Can't
But
wait
it's gonna be out.
And I think I spent like a week coming up with the script, and then I still edited more to the script because I realized I missed a console. And then it took me like 3 days straight of 6 to 8 hours of editing to get it together. So yeah, this one took a long time. I forgot how much some of the game history ones can take, particularly when you go as far back as say Atari or Intellivision or ColecoVision. It gets rough. So that will be out tomorrow. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that one, right?
I can't
I
wait
hope
to
it's
see
good.
Yeah, look
I
forward
hope it's
to it.
good.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Um,
Stop. It's gonna be.
I learned some new techniques from Panda, and
Zombie.
I tried to utilize a few of those
I was
in
waiting
there,
for.
and I think I got some good. I think I got some cool stuff in there as a result.
I need to get Zombie's attention real quick. So Zombie, I did think of you recently. I was cleaning up some. I was cleaning up some N64 stuff. I have these games and this Rumble pack that came from a video rental store. And this asshole that had this store not only scratched the name of his store on the cartridge, he also put super glue on the screws so they can't be taken out. Do you have any way of actually dissolving super glue so this can be taken
Oh
apart?
my god!
Wow.
Same for the cartridges too. Like, of course, it has all the void stickers, which is easy enough to clean up. But super glue on the screws. Are you serious?
That is insane.
That's
without
ridiculous.
Not happy when I didn't realize why I wasn't able to get the cartridges apart.
I mean, the main thing to clean off super glue is acetone, but I wouldn't touch that with acetone.
Yeah, because it'll start to eat the plastic too.
I had like Goo Gone just kind of soaking into it, and I mean it takes off the stickers really great, and wasn't able to dissolve the glue.
He's saying Goo Gone or acetone, so I tried Goo Gone. By the way, Zombie, I know you're doing like a stream for Toys for Tots. When is that, by the way? Because I want to get that out there, because I want to get word out on that, because I think you raised about $200 for Toys for Tots last year, and so I want people to show up for that to help that out, because that's a great cause. I love Toys for Tots. That's a great time to like dump some cash to help kids out during a time of year where they might not have anything, be they Jewish or not Jewish or whatnot. I think they just give out toys around that time of year. And so if they didn't get anything for Hanukkah, maybe they can at least get something for like, Christmas from Toys for Tots and all that. And the ones that don't have anybody to give them anything for Christmas can get something for Christmas. So because I know he's mentioned the date before, but I don't know 100% what it is. So I'm going to be doing like a quick notice on my channel when I find that out from you, Zombie, to try to get word out there as much as I can. And then I intend to kind of showing up there and donating some myself.
Nice.
Yeah, they have somebody that basically matches each one. So it's going to be this Sunday. So guys, keep out for that stream this Sunday. I plan on attending this if at all possible to hang out and support and to do my own donation to help out. I recommend all you guys that can pop in, whether or not you donate like, $1 or whether or not you donate, $100. It's all going to get kids something for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So do what you can and help out. Okay. It's a very good thing to do. Okay. So I think we're going to call it here. Thank you everybody for popping in. I had a great time doing the show tonight. And, it was a good stream. We were kind of everywhere across the board, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
we covered a lot of GameCube.
We're in the holidays.
We covered a lot of GameCube.
Look, we did not talk about mayonnaise. That's a win.
All right.
I missed most of that conversation. I'm sitting on the couch with my wife during the stream, And like all of a sudden on this like Thursday stream, you guys are all of a sudden talking about American Whip versus mayonnaise, and I'm like, what the hell? Did I walk into a Go Game Go stream or what?
Right?
What is going on? Like no idea. Hey. We talked plenty of GameCube, sir.
That's right.
Sir.
Have you know,
sir.
sir.
That's right. We mentioned all the major hits, and we even talked about a couple of others that some people wouldn't consider major hits. But we like them anyway, so there. Yeah. Their stream.
Yeah, sorry it wasn't as good as your GameCube stream, Mazen.
Yeah, Mazen.
Ooh.
Boom!
Fired.
On that note, guys, we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much. Happy game.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Happy Hanukkah.